7 marks available, which I do in this particular question, and it's a 3-hour exam, this equates to 12 minutes, 13 minutes. If I have 7 marks available, I should try and make 7 points. The marking guides are remarkably consistent in that you're getting 1 mark per valid point. I am setting the timer for 13 minutes. I'm going to produce what I hope is a very good answer within the time allowed. It will not be as good as the examiner's answer, but it will be trying to put myself in your situation. Blackcut wishes to create an investment property portfolio with a view to determining if any property considered surplus could be considered. The following portfolio is owned by Blackcut. Land. Some land is for capital appreciation. Other plots of land, which we don't know what to do with. Local government supplements its income. Housing department, inventory, staff, blah, 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 blah. A little bit like MC. There's a lot of information there. But we need to start somewhere, and a good place to start is with a definition. Blackcut wishes to create a credible investment property portfolio with a view to determining if any property is considered surplus. We then have details of some land, details of some other land, details of some parks, details of some housing, where we have to apply what we're talking about. Is the accounting standard we're talking about here investment property, held for sale, PPE, inventory? What do you think the main thing is we're talking about? Investment property, ISA 40. So we've got to come up with a recollection of what an investment property is. An investment property is a property that you have as an investment. Yeah? Not because you're using it, but because you think it will go up in value and or you think it will have a rental income. So, let me make a start. Blackcut has to consider the definition of an investment property. These are held for their investment potential, i.e., in other words, for capital appreciation and or rental income. Full stop, leave a space, new paragraph. We've said what an investment property is. Now, how are investment properties accounted for? Strictly speaking, there are 2 different ways, but normally we account for them at fair value, and we take the gain or loss to P&L, correct? So let's just get that down. Full stop, leave a space, new paragraph. Investment properties are normally accounted for at fair value, comma, no depreciation, and gain or loss to P&L. Full stop, leave a space, new paragraph. Now, there's a lot more I know about investment property. For example, you can split it. You can have one building and you occupy 10 floors and you rent out 10 floors, and the 10 floors you rent out are an investment property and the 10 floors that you use are PPE. I know that you can provide one minor ancillary service and it still be an investment property. But if you provide security and Wi-Fi and cleaning and property maintenance and, then you're trading as a hotel, you're trading as office accommodation. Yeah? But I need to move on to answer the question. The following portfolio is owned by Blackcut. Blackcut owns several plots of land. Some of the land is owned by Blackcut for capital appreciation. Ka-ching! That seems to meet the definition of an investment property. The fact you can sell it at any time, great. Yeah, so full stop, leave a space, new paragraph. The land held for capital appreciation. The land held for capital appreciation is to be classified as investment property. Full stop, leave a space, new paragraph. Other plots of land are lying empty because we don't know whether we're going to make it into a national park or whether we're going to sell it. So we've got some land which is lying fallow, lying idle. Can that be an investment property? Yes or no? Yes, yes. All you have to have it is for, it doesn't have to be rented out. Full stop, leave a space, new paragraph. The other land, pending a decision, is also investment property. Is also investment property. Investment properties can be vacant. Investment properties can be vacant, but cannot be used by the company, but cannot be used by the entity. If you are using the property, if the entity is using the property, then that property is PPE. But we're not using it. It's lying fallow, it's lying empty. Full stop, leave a space, new paragraph. The local government supplements its income by buying and selling. The housing department regularly sells part of the housing inventory in the ordinary course of its business as a result of changing demographics. So the local government organisation supplements its income by buying and selling. It regularly sells part of the inventory in the ordinary course of business. Is that an investment property, yes or no? Why not? It's trading, yeah, it's trading, yeah? You're buying in order to sell. You're not buying in order to invest, you're buying in order to sell. So if you're buying in order to sell, it's trading. If it's trading, it's not investment property, it's inventory. And if it's inventory, it's lower of cost and net realisable value. Full stop, leave a space, new paragraph. For housing that is bought and sold is not investment property. It is a trading item. You've not bought it for capital appreciation or rental income, you've bought it to turn a buck. You've bought it to just sell on. The housing that is bought and sold is not investment property, it is a trading item, it is inventory. Lower of cost and net realisable value. I mean, I happen to know it's ISA 2. Most of you may know it's ISA 2. If you want to write down inventory ISA 2, you're more than welcome to do so. But it doesn't get you an extra mark. What you've got to know is that inventory is lower of cost, and you've got to recognise what inventory is. Full stop, leave a space, new paragraph. Final sentence. Final pair of sentences. Part of the inventory which is not held for sale, not trading, is to provide housing for staff. We pay our staff a small amount of money, but we then allow them to rent the premises at a discounted amount. And the rent that we collect covers the maintenance of the property. So what do you think about that? What do you think about property that we rent out to our staff, so we are receiving a rental income? Is that an investment property, yes or no? No, because the staff are using it, yeah, it's part of the operating of the business. It's a way of us getting away with paying less wages. So it's an operating asset. If it's an operating asset, then it's PPE. So we can say here, yeah, property rented to staff. Property rented to staff. Property rented to staff cannot be investment property. As it is being used in the business, as it is being used in the business. It is PPE. Cost or fair value. Gains to other comprehensive income. Always charge depreciation. So the accounting treatment for ISA 16 is slightly different. Let me just see how many points I've made. Black cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, maybe I've got 1 point left in me. I've only made 6 comments. Oh, I've got 10 seconds left to spare. Can I think of something else to say? Maintenance costs. What do you do with maintenance costs? Expense. Full stop, leave a space, new paragraph. Maintenance costs are expensed to P&L. Yeah? Mr. Marker, please give me 7 marks. Yeah, don't ever write that. But the idea is that I've taken you through a question and you've got to write short, sharp, simple sentences. You know, when I was doing MC, I was doing dashes. It enables us sometimes to cover the ground quicker, for me to talk more and explain. But fundamentally, this is the style that I really want to encourage you to adopt in the exam. Writing short, sharp, simple sentences. The questions are always in an applied manner. Right, I think I keep on making the same point there. Let's have a look at part C, let's have a look at part D, and I will be prepared to cut some corners here in order to try and cover as much ground as possible. So, yeah, here we've got Black cut, we're still looking at black cut, and we're now looking at part C. Yeah, black cut, and we're now looking at part C. And this has got absolutely nothing to do with investment property anymore, because it's a separate part of the question, so it's a separate dilemma, or it's a separate accounting issue. Can you just give it a read for a couple of minutes, please, so that we have, you have an understanding about what is being involved.